Hey, I want to share something because I thought it was important from a developmental process and just like a reframing process. So in the Wayward Academy system, the whole thing is designed to help usher someone through a reprogramming of mind, reprogramming of heart, delivering through traumatizing events, and one of the things that's important is we're going to get into these places in life where we're not going to be able to move forward very easily. Consequently, there are these opportunities to actually move through things that normally would knock us backwards. So here's what I mean. I had this event happen to me within the last, couple weeks where someone came and told me, hey, like, you're doing this job for us and it's not really as good a quality as we would like it to be. And I got a little butthurt about it inside, but that was just my flesh not liking and my ego not liking the fact that I was not doing a good job. And I started to get defensive, and what I realized was that, hey, there's no reason to be defensive. I wanted myself to back out. Like, why are you defensive? Well, I'm defensive because someone is seeing something that they think is not good. Okay, how much about the scope of what you're doing do you absolutely master? Have you mastered and completely about? And the answer was not a lot. Like, I'm so learning about this thing that I was doing, and I don't know a lot. There's a lot of gaps in my knowledge and a lot of gaps in my development. And then my thought process was like, okay, if there's gaps in your development and there's gaps in your knowledge, how can you be expected to know how to operate at a high level? Well, I can't. So if you can't understand how to operate at a high level, how can you expect yourself to operate at a high level? Well, I can't. So why are you mad at yourself? Well, I guess I'm not. Well, if you're not mad at yourself, then why are you letting yourself get defensive? Why don't you open yourself up to the fact that you have room to learn? And when you have room to learn, you can help yourself soften to yourself so that these people can help you get better at it, and then they won't have to come and have this problem anymore with you or the job that you're doing. And the whole thing I want to share is that there was a reframing that took place there. The initial aspect was like, hey, I'm mad at myself because I'm not doing a good job and you got to come tell me. But at the end of the day, it's just me against me. If I learn more about what I can do better, I'm going to do better. And if I can do better, then I'm going to have more. And if I'm going to have more, I can be more. And if I be more, then I can do more. And so it was really important for me to reframe this to a perspective where I start to think about this differently. And so when these people were trying to help me out, like, hey, explaining to me what I could do better and where things were falling apart, I was really taking that and I was saying, okay, I felt myself getting defensive. And then I thought, well, hey, Chad, just relax for a second. Don't get defensive. What they're really saying is there's a better way to do this. And what they're really saying is that we want this at a higher standard. And if I was honest with myself, I would have been able to see, and I was eventually able to reframe it and say, hey, Chad, you don't know what you don't know. And they're trying to help you get better at this. And then I started to think like, okay, if they help me get better at this, I'm going to be able to do this job better. And that there's no reason for me to be upset at myself or to think that I'm not good enough, which was the whole reason I was getting defensive, was because I was going down an old pattern of I'm not perfect, so I must not be good enough. That wasn't true at all. They weren't even saying that. They were just simply asking me to learn from somebody. And I took that opportunity and I said, you know what? Let's do this then. Let's admit that I don't know what I don't know, and I have a gap in experience. I have a gap in knowledge. And let's fill that gap with knowledge. And let's fill that gap with experience, now with proper knowledge. And so this person showed me some things. Somebody who's been doing it a lot longer than I have. Somebody that knew something that I didn't know. And they helped me understand at a higher level where my gap was. And after that, I learned something. And I think going forward, I can do that particular job better. And so the nugget here is that there are times in our life where we're going to be challenged about what we do well and what we don't do well. And it's going to hurt our ego. And our ego is attached to our flesh. And while it is necessary and it is needed, and while our flesh is a part of our life, our flesh is attached to the world and it moves through the world. But it isn't our spirit. Our spiritual body does not use our fleshly body for its vehicle. Our spiritual body uses our spiritual body for the vehicle. It uses our mind a little bit, a reframing of our mind connected to our spirit, and it uses our emotions. And so I was able to get out of the place where I was defensive, and I was able to snap myself into a position or a place of like, hey, I want to be better. And in order to be better, I've got to be vulnerable. In order to be vulnerable, I've got to admit that I don't know what I don't know. And that helped me out a lot in that situation. And so I thought it was valuable, and I thought it was valuable enough where I wanted to share it. And I wanted to just make a point that when you're faced with an opportunity to get better, it's important that you take that opportunity to get better. And it's important that you take that opportunity to learn and take that opportunity to bridge that gap. And when you do that, when you do it properly, and when you do it adequately, you do it honestly, and you do it consistently, you can find within yourself the opportunity to bridge that gap and then to be better. And once you are better, you can offer a better product to people around you. And when you can do that, the whole tide rises and your boat floats and the other boats around you float higher. And that's all we're supposed to be doing in this world. And so I recognized in myself that I made a huge leap on that day, and that as a human being that does not ever like to be corrected, that does not ever like to be vulnerable, that does not ever like to be less than, wasn't really less than. I just had a gap in knowledge. And when I had that gap in knowledge, I realized that I just got to be honest with myself. And I was honest. And I felt like that was a really great opportunity for me to grow. And that's the whole wayward system, was identifying in the moment that God was loving me no matter what. That God loved me with the mistake I made. That God loved me with the opportunity to grow. That God offered me the opportunity to grow. And that God gave me the opportunity to grow. And I took it. Because he's my father and he loves me and he cares about me and he wants me to grow. And I saw that. And I saw that I can show up for him in a better way, in a different way. And I was grateful for that opportunity. And so as we go forward into the day, I just wanted to offer this to you because I'm sure I'm not the only one that comes up against being defensive and being upset that you're not the best version of yourself in any given day. But there's a gap in knowledge. And if you learn from somebody and you can make yourself vulnerable and make yourself a student rather than a master before you're a master, then you can allow yourself to learn, and then you can allow yourself to rise a little higher and do a little bit better. And that's all this is all about. So today I want to offer this to you. Take yourself out of the game a little bit as far as being perfect. You're not perfect. You're not supposed to be. But you are a perfect learner. And however you have to learn, you have to find yourself vulnerable in a vulnerable place to do that. So hopefully you can go forward in doing that. And I think for me, it's going to help me go forward. And I hope it does to you too. So go get it. Go find your vulnerabilities. Sit inside of that peace that God still loves you regardless. And at the end of the day, it's all that matters. Peace.